from Sri Lanka. Despite stern warnings from Beijing, the lower chamber of the US legislature has passed 2 bills protecting human rights in Hong Kong. The bill now goes to the White House for US President Donald Trump to sign or veto the bills. The lawmakers voted 417-1 for the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act, a legislation which was unanimously passed by the upper chamber on Tuesday. The legislation, which has angered Hong Kong, would require Washington to certify that Hong Kong retains enough autonomy to qualify for the US trading consideration. It will allow the US to sanction officials who are responsible for human rights violations in Hong Kong. The second bill was passed 417-0, a bill which had earlier been unanimously approved by the upper chamber again. Now the second bill, bans the export of crowd control weapons to Hong Kong's police. It bans the export of tear gas, pepper spray, rubber bullets and stun guns, weapons that are being used by the Hong Kong police every day.
Congress is sending an unmistakable message to the world that the United States stands in solidarity with freedom-loving people of Hong Kong, and we fully support their fight for freedom.
The Hong Kong government condemned the US for passing the bill. It said that the bill not only meddles in Hong Kong's affairs, but also sends the wrong message to violent protesters. The government said, and I quote here, "The Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act and the other act on Hong Kong are unnecessary and unwarranted. They will also harm the relations and common interests between Hong Kong and the United States," unquote. Beijing was certainly not happy with the US decision. China slammed the US, saying that the resolution is a clear interference in its internal affairs, and if not prevented from becoming a law, it can backfire on the US.
香港是中国的香港，香港事务纯属中国内政。我们正告美方认清形势，悬崖勒马，立即采取措施阻止该案惩罚，立即停止插手香港事务，干涉中国内政，以免引火烧身，自食苦果。如果美方一意孤行，中方必将采取有力措施予以坚决反制，坚定维护国家的主权、安全和发展利益。
Meanwhile, in the embattled financial hub, Hong Kong police announced that around 1,000 people were arrested so far over the Polytechnic University siege. Some anti-government protesters trapped inside the campus tried to flee through the sewers and abseiling from a footbridge, many of whom failed to escape, and some were arrested. Police said that they had no plans to storm the campus. And now we have our correspondent Grace Lee joining us live from Hong Kong with the latest. Grace, talk to us in terms of how the situation has been for the day. We've seen a build-up of violence in the last few days. Has it abated at all for the day?
Well, so far there's still less than 100 protesters holed up at PolyU at this moment, and it seems they're slowly running out of supplies. But the people inside have told media that they're afraid to come out and face police, and they say they've not done nothing wrong. So far they've tried some very dangerous tactics to try and escape from the university, and that includes attempting to go through the sewage system to get out. And of course, firefighters have said that that is incredibly dangerous and that they're risking their lives to do so. But the alternative is to come out with their hands up and get arrested by police, in which they'll see about 10 years of jail sentence. So that certainly doesn't seem like an option for these protesters at this moment. But things like the U.S. House, Congress, and passing that bill is a small victory for these protesters. We're still seeing a lot of support for those stuck inside that university. There were several smaller, peaceful demonstrations happening today throughout the day. And of course, another big rally is scheduled for Sunday, but that's also the same day where Hong Kong's elections are supposed to happen. And of course, Hong Kong's government has threatened that if there are violent protests throughout the week, they might go ahead and cancel that or push that back. So far, there's no indication that they might do that. So the elections will go ahead. But of course, election officials have also said that if there's any funny business on that day, they will push it back without any hesitation. So that's kind of the standoff we're expecting to see on Sunday between protesters and the government, and see whether or not Hong Kong will be able to go ahead with its district elections. And of course, that's an election that we're expecting to see a heavy win for the pro-democratic side. So that's why protesters do want to go ahead with that. And so we'll be waiting to see what the result is this Sunday.
Right, Grace Lee joining us with that latest update straight from Hong Kong. All eyes on what's going to happen come Sunday. Thank you, Grace, for being with us here on WION Dispatch.